There's a Matt Walsh fight scene.
Wait.
You guys have seen it, right?
Yeah.
They
I missed that.
when they reenact Jussie Smollett with Matt Walsh and he's fighting the Maka Bros.
Yes.
Now that the movie's been out, I don't mind to spoil it, but it's unsurprising to see in Hollywood, in these institutions, they are still trying to say no. So what I'll say right now is we've had tremendous victories across the board. We now have to entrench everything we're doing as the institution.
Breaking news, Tim Pool could be selling the Timcast IRL to the Daily Wire. Tim Pool addresses rumors of the Daily Wire acquiring Timcast with a muddled garden analogy, avoiding any direct denial of the buyout explanation. Now, this would make a lot of sense to me because look at the way Tim Pool on his show glazes Matt Walsh and the Am I a Racist movie after it was snubbed by the Oscars. Like, look at the way he goes on about it. And I'll give you more of my thoughts after.
Oscar doc voters, despite claiming box office crown. I'll start by saying, we've won a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Disney just announced, we were talking about in the previous segment, they're getting rid of that transgender storyline. Woke is broke. Target regrets it. Bud Light regrets it. They ain't never going to recover. And so with the political victories, the cultural victories, we are charging ahead, and we need to make sure that we keep on doing this. But then you get this story, and I don't know if anyone expected anything different, to be honest. Matt Walsh made one of the best comedies I've seen in probably a decade plus. If you haven't seen Am I Racist, you need to, because despite them calling it a political documentary, it's not really. It's Matt Walsh playing a character where he wants to do the work and learn how to not be racist or be anti-racist, whatever, and it's slapstick comedy. I tell people, like, an example of one of the jokes is that Matt Walsh is carrying a stack of plates and he trips and he drops them. That's it. He doesn't preach anything. And they do. There's a really funny bit where everybody's seen this already. He convinces Robin DiAngelo to pay reparations to his black producer. And they show on screen how much money they paid her to do this. And it's like $15,000. And then when she hands $35 over, the number goes down. It was really well done. But they weren't saying anything overtly political. They were showing it to you and making fun of the whole scenario. I'm not surprised to see that they submitted for the Oscars, as they should, because it is one of the most successful documentaries in decades, and it was an amazing comedy. And they say that Am I Racist, the controversial documentary that satirizes diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, failed to make the Oscar shortlist of nonfiction features today, despite earning more money at the box office than any other documentary this year by far. The film was directed by Justin Folk, featuring Matt Walsh going undercover to infiltrate DEI seminars. Yes, but they're making it seem like it was a serious documentary. His character in the film, a caricature of himself, is trying to do the work to be anti-racist. There's a Matt Walsh fight scene.
Wait.
You guys have seen it, right?
Yeah.
I
missed that.
when they reenact Jussie Smollett with Matt Walsh and he's fighting the Maka Bros.
Yes.
Now that the movie's been out, I don't mind to spoil it, but it's unsurprising to see in Hollywood, in these institutions, they are still trying to say no. So what I'll say right now is we've had tremendous victories across the board. We now have to entrench everything we're doing as the institution. Now is the time where we have to
Forward the line.
Yes, but and specifically, we need ubiquity. Matt Walsh and Daily Wire attempted an Oscar makes sense. You want to infiltrate their institutions and say, hey, look, we play by the rules. We made a documentary. It made a lot of money. It was at the box office. What's the problem? Well, they say we don't want to have you because it's gatekeeping. I tell you, what you need now, because the Democrats are going to do this, mark my words, they've got to put up billboards and TV commercials for Matt Walsh's show.
His regular show.
His regular show. Rumble needs to do this. Daily Wire needs to do this. We need to do this. Everybody needs to be doing this.
Yeah, so there's that whole thing. Like, he's glazing Matt Walsh's movie and Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire, which, again, that's not in itself proof he's being paid. But, I mean, dude, listen, I haven't seen Am I Racist yet, but the way he's going on about it, like he said, this is one of the greatest movie ever made in the last however long, he said. I was listening to Tim Pool talking about the Brett Cooper situation, about Brett Cooper leaving the Daily Wire. And Tim Pool said some things that made me legit think like he was defending the Daily Wire. And listen, I'm not saying just because you're defending the Daily Wire and something you're being paid by the Daily Wire, but his defenses themselves were kind of weird. Like, okay, that's kind of a weird cope or a weird defense. So for instance, when it came to Brett Cooper leaving, he said, "I don't see why people are so mad. Why are people upset about this?" And it's like, listen, Tim Pool might get some things wrong here or there, but he's not stupid. And if he doesn't know why people are upset about this whole Brett Cooper situation, I mean, then he's an idiot. But the thing is, I don't think he's an idiot. So why would he be sitting there being like, "I don't understand why people are upset about this. I don't get it. Why are people so mad? It is what it is, but I don't get why people are mad." Doesn't make any sense. And then he said, "Listen, I don't know why people are upset. Brett Cooper leaving, well, that's just another show for the culture wars in our sphere." And this, he was pretty much saying, well, there's going to be the comment section and then there's going to be Brett Cooper show. There's going to be 2 shows. So that's more shows for our sphere and the culture war, blah, blah, blah. Something to that effect. Not direct quote, but that's essentially what he was saying. And I was like, well, that's also kind of a weird cope. I thought it was just weird cope, like a weird, okay, that's kind of a weird thing to tell yourself to not be so upset about the situation. Okay. Because we don't know what Brett Cooper's doing yet. So why is he assuming that she's going to remain in this culture war sphere? Like, it's not a given. She's going to be staying in the culture war area. She could move on to do something else. So there's going to be more shows. I don't know. That was weird. So I thought, man, it sounds like Tim Pool's being paid by the Daily Wire or something. Kind of laughed to myself. And then I kind of went on with my day. And then later on that night, I saw this news thing. This is my account on X, by the way. If you have an X account, follow me on there. If you're not already, that would be greatly appreciated. So I brushed that off to myself, and then all of a sudden I read this. Tim Pool is reportedly selling his entire Timcast operation to the Daily Wire effective January 1st, sources confirmed to Media Right News. One source told Media Right News that a Daily Wire employee has been questioning Timcast employees to determine whether they will be terminated, while a second said it is unclear which employees will retain their positions. Sources spoke on condition of anonymity due to concern of legal reprisals. It is also understood Tim Pool is moving to Nashville, and any employee retained will need to relocate after many were required to move to West Virginia to begin employment. Pool recently commented on the Daily Wire split with Brett Cooper without disclosing his deal with the Daily Wire. That's what I was just talking about earlier. It all just seems like obvious contract stuff to me, wrote Pool of the decision between Daily Wire and Cooper to part ways. I assume Brett wanted more money. The DW didn't want to pay more. Yeah, that's the video I was talking about earlier where it seemed like he was just kind of, again, it's not bad. It doesn't mean he's paid just because he's defending the Daily Wire, but it's just some of the defenses he came up with. It was kind of weird. So then I tweeted this, which is what I told you earlier, and I put, holy shizzle. Wasn't expecting to be right, though, because I wasn't expecting to be right. I kind of just went about my day. Then later on that night, I read this, and I was like, holy cow. Like, I kind of, in a way, kind of predicted this. So, Tim Pool released a statement. My official statement in response to the rumors. Many people have been spreading rumors pertaining to the future of Timcast and our operation in West Virginia. It's an interesting question, and it really gets to the heart of how independent media operates and what we need to do in the future. When you're building something like Timcast IRL, it's not just about saying we're independent and leaving it at that. It's about creating an ecosystem that thrives on authenticity and trust. It's kind of like what he was saying earlier during the Matt Walsh clip. You want to grow, sure, but you also have to be careful about how you grow. It's about making decisions that add value without compromising the integrity of what you built. I like to think of it as tending to a garden. You start with something small, plant seeds that complement each other, and watch it grow into self-sustaining. But you also have to be mindful of what you're introducing. Some things can thrive together, while others can disrupt the balance. But you wouldn't plant something invasive that could choke out the rest of your garden, and you definitely wouldn't ignore pests that could cause long-term damage. It's all about nurturing what works while keeping an eye on what doesn't. And of course, like any good garden, it needs a bit of diversity to really flourish. Diversity, huh? You need to add the right elements at that right time to make it more vibrant and productive. For instance, adding chickens to a garden can help fertilize the soil and control pests. It's a natural way to make everything work better together. That's something we're really excited about with Chicken City. Expanding that operation is going to be a big step forward in integrating everything we've been working on into a more cohesive system. So yes, we'll be adding a garden to Chicken City, and we're bringing in new chickens to make it even better. Thank you. So I've heard this things like he I don't know, he's raising chickens or something like that. So I don't know if this is a troll. Like it's one of those things where he makes it sound like he's talking about the Daily Wire situation, but in reality, he's just talking about his chicken coop or whatever. I don't know if that's what this is, or if this is just a metaphor. And obviously, it's Tim Pool being Tim Pool. I think he did that on purpose. I think, in a way, to be honest, I think this is kind of answering the question indirectly in that, yes, I think he's selling the Timcast IRL into the Daily Wire. Because if it wasn't true, wouldn't he just say it's true? Like, obviously, I mean, there's always a good chance he's prologuing the final answers just for attention because it's a lot of eyes on him. It's going to be more views for his videos and stuff. So, there is a chance he could just be stringing us along, but I think this is indirectly saying that yes, it is. Because again, if it wasn't true, why wouldn't he just say so? Sir Gonzalez, LOL. Do this word salad to make Kamala Harris proud. So yeah, I think if it's true, I'm not really thrilled about it because it seems like the Daily Wire is just growing and growing until it's going to become kind of like a new Fox News. Like, I don't know. It just seems like the stuff Steven Crowder said last year about the Daily Wire and Big Con. I think it's just, to me, it just seems like it's aging like a fine wine. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's a good idea for Tim Pool to sell his show to the Daily Wire? Do you think he is selling the show to Daily Wire? What do you interpret it from this big word salad about chickens? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies on the screen for you to click away and enjoy.